Hey, good morning, Shabbat Shalom. So Abraham is the first patriarch, but he is really hard to like. He's good with strangers. If you were living in Sodom and Gomorrah, he would stand up for you. If you were lost in the forest, you could come to his tent for a snack and a meal. Really good with strangers, really not good with family at all. If you think about it, he essentially sponged off his parents the first 75 years. That midrash about how his father had an idol store and he used to work in an idol store, that's not in the Torah. That's a midrash. As far as we know, he didn't do anything for a living. Abe, you gonna look for a job today? Nah, I'm good, Dad. I'm really comfortable right here. Now that's fine until someone's like 60, right? That's okay. But he's about 75 or 80 and he's still living at home. He doesn't seem to have any real ambition whatsoever. He loves Sarah, but she's not quite enough for him. They've been married for a long time. They didn't have kids. And Sarah says to him, Abraham, would you like to sleep with Hagar and have a child with her? What he should have said is, Sarah, I love you so much. You are enough for me. How could I even think of such a thing? And instead he says, great, which was really not the answer that she was looking for. When God tells him that he'll have a child with Sarah, he doesn't then talk it over with Sarah. He just like, great, go for it. Abraham has a child with Hagar, Ishmael, and Sarah had become jealous of them and wants them expelled. So what Abraham could have said is, Sarah, I love you so much. There is room in my heart for the whole family, and let's just try to figure this out. And instead he says, okay. And then he tries to kill his kid. Hey, Abraham, take your son Isaac and go sacrifice him. And again, what Abraham should have said is, I can have more kids, but Sarah, that's like really, let's not do this. Instead, he says, Hineni, here I am. Let's go do that. And I have to imagine that Abraham and Isaac's relationship after that just wasn't great. Like, how many of you would go with your father anywhere after that one? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not falling for that a second time. No, really, it's just ice cream. Abraham just wasn't good at family. But what's powerful to me about the end of the Torah portion is that he kind of realizes it and tries to find a way back. He tries to find an appropriate wife for Isaac. And one of the reasons I think that Isaac doesn't look for a wife himself is he's never leaving the tent again, because the last time that happened, it did not go well. So he's staying right where he is. And so Abraham knows that it's not good for his son to be alone and maybe to find someone. But what's fascinating is that Abraham marries again after Isaac gets married. And he marries someone named Keturah. V'yosef Avraham v'yikach isha ushma Keturah. The word Keturah is actually used, it's spices, like the spices in the temple, something that has a beautiful fragrance. That's why I guess she was the first of the Spice Girls. It was a little funny, come on. I literally just made it up on the spot. But according to the Midrash, it was actually Hagar and that Keturah was actually a nickname for her. And that Abraham had realized that he had done Hagar wrong and was trying to make up for it somehow. And the Midrash said that she was called Keturah because her good deeds had a beautiful fragrance to them, that she was considered such a wonderful person, and something that Abraham finally understood after a long time. I'm not sure how thrilled Keturah was. Oh, now I'm good enough for you. But Abraham's trying. I think he's trying to bring a sense of redemption toward the end of his life, that he had done some things really wrong, and he was trying to make up for it. And he winds up having a number of other children with Keturah. And one of them, they actually have 6 children. One of them is Midian. Midian becomes the ancestor of the tribe of the wife that Moses marries, of Tzipporah, and of the father-in-law Yitro. And so it's this final act of redemption that Abraham has toward the end of his life that actually makes it possible for Moses to become Moses and to eventually liberate the people. And I think there is a message here in never trying to give up to make it better. Now, the other person may not want it. It may be too late at that point, but it doesn't mean that you should try to give up on making the world better, on trying to make other people's lives better. I think sometimes after a point, people say to themselves, I just can't do this. I can't make things any better than they are. And that there's a sense of resignation. What Abraham, I think, is teaching with Hagar is that it's never too late to keep trying. Even if you're not necessarily successful, even if it doesn't work the way that you want it, you can still make things better than they were before. You will be a better person for the effort. And as I think about Thanksgiving, one of the things we always talk about are what are we grateful for? But maybe this year to think about what are people grateful for us? What are we doing that is making things better? What are the things that we are doing to make other people's lives feel fuller and richer? And maybe we can find a way not just to have gratitude to others, but if we act with that kind of kindness of trying to make things better, maybe people will be grateful for us too. Shabbat Shalom.